Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm finally going to be answering the #1 question I get asked all the time in emails, Instagram messages, comments on my other YouTube videos, and that is, how much does it cost to go to school and live in Paris? And it's taken me a while to answer this question because I just didn't know how. So much goes into answering this question because the short answer is a lot. It's expensive. And the long answer is, well, it depends. And that's kind of what I want to talk about in this video today. So someone emailed me quite some time ago, and I apologize how long it's taken me to make this. So Dominic emailed me and said, just basically my advice on the financial side, saying, I've saved up about 20,000 Canadian dollars, which is like less than 14,000 euros at the moment. And it would be enough for a master's program here in Canada, definitely. But I don't know about universities I'm looking at in Paris. If fees and tuition are about 1,000 euros a year, do you think I could manage a 2-year program taking into consideration living expenses? And at first I thought, 14,000 euros, that's a lot of money. But then I thought, wait a second. I spent a lot of money this summer, just 3 months. And $14,000 I don't think is gonna get you very far. For a year, yeah, but not 2 years. So I'm basically gonna use Dominic's question, answer his question, and then kind of tie it into how much it really costs to live in Paris, and how much it costs to go to school, get an apartment, etc., etc. So let's break it down. If you've watched my first YouTube video quite some time ago, it was a tour of the dorm I lived in over the summer at ENS. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but it cost 315 euros a month. So I was only there for 3 months, so that wasn't very expensive. And even in general, 300 euros to live in Paris is like nothing. Granted, it was a dorm, but I still had a kitchen, bathroom. It was nice. But so let's pretend you're going to be living in a dorm, which is say, let's just say 300 euros a month. 300 times 12, 3,600 euros a year. So take that off of your 14,000. Next. But honestly, the chances or the odds of you getting a dorm at all is slim to none, because campuses in Paris, they don't exist. There are no campuses. And so not every school has a dorm. There's Cité Universitaire, but it's very competitive to get into. It's basically like this huge community of just like hundreds of buildings for countries around the world. So like if you're American, you would stay in the American building. If you're Argentinian, you would stay in the Argentinian building, etc., etc. And you have to fill out like a very competitive application. You have to write essays. I mean, it's no nonsense to try to get a dorm there. And for me at ENS, I was just very lucky, but there's a lot of kids that go to that school that have priority. So let's pretend you're not gonna live in a dorm, because I don't think it's very feasible. It's like best case scenario, but it's hard. So let's say you're going to live in an apartment, and apartments in Paris, don't let anyone fool you, they're expensive. I remember I was looking at them just for 3 months, and I couldn't find anything less than 700 euros that wasn't a box or a closet, literally. So let's pretend you find a place and it's with a roommate, and I think that is the best way to go. Try to find someone else to live with, or see if someone is like renting a room. It's not the most glamorous situation, but having a roommate definitely cuts the cost a lot. So best case scenario, you find an apartment for, let's say, 600 euros. 600 times 12, 7,200 euros for the year. That's a lot. That's more than half of your 14,000 euros. But that's the reality of it. You have to pay rent no matter where you are in the world. Paris just happens to be expensive. So we got living, tuition. So if you're going for your master's cost about 300 euros for a year. And that really depends where you're going. To be honest, I couldn't find anything about ENS on the internet. It's kind of hard. But for most public universities, a master's is about 300 euros, which is like absolutely crazy. My books cost that much for 1 semester. But if you're going to a private university, or if you're going to like an engineering, a business, a journalism school, a grande école, which I think I'm going to do a totally separate video on that. But there's public universities and then grande école. Those can cost anywhere from 3,000 to 10,000 euros a year. So consider that. But if you're going for like social sciences or something, 300 euros. That's like nothing. All right, then we have transportation, which is inevitable. You're not, I mean, well, I guess you could, but you're probably not gonna bike everywhere over Paris. It's a big city. And currently the monthly rate for a metro pass is 70 euros. So 70 times 12, 840. Yeah, 840 euros, which that's another thing that's like a lot of money, but it's a good investment. I think you can just take the metro, the buses, the trams everywhere, whenever. So it's kind of those like, you just have to do it sort of expenses. So if we take apartment, tuition, transportation, we are at, I had to do the math because we are at 8,340 euros. So while 14,000 euros is a lot of money, yes, and congratulations to you for saving all of that, that's barely going to cover 1 year of living. Because then if you think about all the other expenses, health insurance, food, hello, you want to go out and eat, you want to eat it all. I mean, it's just, there's going to be so many other expenses getting there if you're going to put 1,000 euros, $1,000 into a plane tickets, you know, furnishing your apartment. There's a lot that goes into it. So I think best case scenario, you get a dorm, 300 euros, that's the way to go. If not, you're definitely gonna be paying upwards of 600, 700, 800 euros a month for an apartment, and most likely a shared one. So I think 14,000 euros is a great start, but in order to really live, and I mean like live, not just like exist in an apartment, but be able to go out to the movies, go shopping, buy groceries, do things with friends, go to museums, like experience Paris, because yeah, you're going there for your master's, you're going there to work, but it's an amazing city that you really want to experience, and memories cost money. I learned that. So I would say do it. I mean, honestly, you're probably gonna have to get a part-time job at some point or another to kind of like make ends meet, especially going into the second year. But if you can, you know, really, I never know this word in English, s'installer in French, like install yourself, like get accustomed, get acquainted, like really get your feet on the ground there, if that makes any sense, then I think it's totally possible to live there. But so another thing I wanted to talk about, which is like how much does it cost to live in Paris? And I'm taking this all from the perspective that you're going to do your master's. Yeah, I mean, this would kind of be the same if you were going to work or do an internship like I did. But something I also wanted to just like touch upon is just how much does it really cost to live there? So I looked it up, and as of December 2016, these are the statistics. These are the numbers. So these are the ones that I thought were relevant. Some of them were like, no way, like it does not cost that much. Like I know that. But so a pound of chicken, 7 euros, 12 eggs, 3.96 euros. It's so weird to say euros. And that is also not very true. Honestly, depends on where you shop. But so like a quart of milk, €1.26, okay. 2 pounds of apples, €3.13. Yeah, and I thought apples were expensive. A box of tampons, €3.80, expensive. Shampoo, €4.39. Toothpaste, €2.73. A men's haircut, 25 euros. Women's is like, you're not gonna find anything less than 40. And that includes a shampoo and a blowout, but it's expensive. There are no supercuts. 2 tickets to a movie, 21 euros. That's still expensive. Like I know in America, I haven't been to the movies in years, so I don't really know how much it costs, but it's expensive. A cocktail at a club, 12 euros. That's expensive. It's definitely comparable to New York, but I mean, if you're coming from like anywhere in the world, that's still expensive. A cappuccino, 4 euros and 81 cents. That's expensive, but that's still the same as like Starbucks. That's still expensive. A beer, 6 euros. Yeah, there's not really many places that have like specials. For happy hour, yeah. Otherwise, you have to go to like dive bars. And a gym membership, about 77 euros a month. My gym cost me 30 euros a month. So, depends. But those are just some of the things that were on the internet that was like, how much does it really cost? And actually, let's see. What is Paris on the most expensive cities? Let's see. Number 1 is Hong Kong. This has nothing to do with video. Number 11 is New York. That makes a lot of sense. 26 is San Francisco, 27 is LA, 34 is Chicago, 45 is Miami, 47 is Boston. Oh, Paris, 44. It's still expensive. But you get the point. I mean, I guess it's comparable. More so living in like Chicago or Boston. LA, San Francisco is definitely up there. New York is through the roofs expensive. But I mean, it's definitely expensive. Definitely. And if you have a family, I mean, yeah. Well, I hope you guys found this video helpful, insightful in any way, and I hope that answered your question, Dominic. It's definitely a tough question to answer, and that's why it's taken me so long to answer it, because I had to think about it. How far will 14,000 euros get you in Paris? My advice is do it. If it's important to you, you will make it happen. You will find a way to live there. So, if you guys have any other questions, my email is always in the description box. You can leave a comment, message me on Instagram, whatever. As always, thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.